Don't feel bad.
Don't feel
They used to
bad.
like you a
They used to
lot.
like you a lot.
But then you got
But
promoted,
then you got promoted,
and now
and
you're all like Mr.
there you are. Now you are like Mr.
Bossman.
Bossman.
Mr. Big.
Mr.
Mr. Big.
Bing,
Bossman
Mr.
Big.
Bing, Bossman Bing.
I can't believe it.
I can't
Yeah,
believe
they
it.
even do you.
They even do you. They even do you. They even do you.
They do me?
They do me.
Like,
Okay.
could that report be any later?
Could that report be any later? Could that report be any later? Could that report be any later? Could that report be any later? Could that report be any later?
I don't
I
sound
don't
like
sound
that.
like that. I don't sound like that. I don't sound like that. I don't sound like that. Sound like that.
Yeah, you do.
Gently. Yeah, you do.
The hills are alive with the sound
The hero alive. The hero alive with the sound
of
of
music.
music. The hero, the hero alive. The hero alive. The hills will alive. The hill will alive with the sound of music.
My
My
scone!
scone!
My
My
scone!
scone! My scone! My
Okay, I don't sound like
scone!
that. That is so
Okay, I don't sound
not true.
like that. Okay, I don't sound like that. Okay, I don't sound like that. There's there's so not true.
That is so
There's so
not.
not.
That is so not.
There's so
that,
not.
Oh,
That.
shut up.
Oh, shut up.
Did not.
I'm telling you. Up
I
until
am
I was like
telling
9.
you. Up until I was like 9. Up until I was like 9. I'm telling you. I am telling you. Up until I was like
I thought the
9.
gunpoint was
I thought the gunpoint
an
was
actual
an
place where crimes happen.
actual place where crimes happen. Actual place where crimes happen. Actual place actual place where crimes happen.
How is that possible?
How is that
Think
possible?
about it. It's
Well, think
always
about
on
it.
the
It's
news.
always
A
on the
man is being
news. A man
held
is
up
being held
at
up
gunpoint.
at gunpoint.
Tourists are being terrorized
Tourists are being
at
terrorized
gunpoint.
at
And I just
gunpoint.
kept thinking,
And I just kept
why do
thinking,
people continue to go there?
why do people continue to go there? Why do people continue to go there?
Oh,
Oh,
I should go.
I should
Okay.
go. Okay.
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 Unless,
What?
unless you want to stay over.
Unless you're stay, unless you're stay, what? Unless you wanna stay over. Unless you wanna, unless you wanna stay over. Unless you wanna stay over.
I'm going to, so.
I'm going to. So
Yeah, I'd
yeah,
really like that.
really like that. Yeah, I'll really like that.
Before we get into
Before we get into
any staying
any
over
staying
stuff,
over stuff,
there's something you should know.
there's something you should know. There's something you should know. There's something you should know. Before we get into any, before we getting, before we get into any staying over stuff. Uh, before we getting, before we get into any staying over stuff. Before we get into, before we get into, before we get into any staying over stuff. Before we get into any staying over stuff, there's something you should know. There is something you should know. There is something you should know. Oh, before we get into any staying over stuff, there is something you should know. There is something you should know. There is something you should know. There is something. There is something you should know. There is something you should know. Before we get into any before we get into any staying over stuff, before we get into any staying over stuff, before we get into any staying over stuff, there is something you should know. There is something you should know. Before we get into staying over stuff, there is something you should know.
Okay. Is this
Okay,
like I
is
have an
this
early
like
class
I have an early
tomorrow,
class
or
tomorrow, or
secretly married to a goat?
I am secretly married to a goat, 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 married to a goat, secretly married to a goat, secretly married to a goat. I am secretly married to a goat. I secretly married to a goat.
Well, it's
Where it's
somewhere in
somewhere
between.
in between.
You see, in
You
a
see, in strictly
technical sense, of
technical
course, I'm
sense,
not.
of course, I'm not.
Well, I mean, I
Well,
haven't
I mean, I
ever.
haven't
Ethan?
ever.
Yeah.
Ethan,
Are you a virgin?
are you a virgin?
Well,
Well,
if that's what you kids are calling it,
if that's what you kid are calling it, well, if that's what your kid are
these
calling
days,
it,
then,
these
yes, I
days then,
am.
yes, I am. These
What?
days then, yes, I am.
I
Ah,
mean,
I mean,
well, you're just such a good kisser.
you're just such a good
I would
kisser.
never have
I
known.
never ever
Oh well,
known. Well,
I've excelled at every level I've
I excel, but excelled. I've excelled at every
been to.
level I've been to.
I just haven't been to that
I just haven't been to that
particular one
particular
yet.
one yet.
I I've
I
kind of been waiting for the right
kind of been waiting
person.
for the right person.
Really?
Yeah,
Really? Yeah.
you do know I
You
was
do know
talking
I
about
was
you, right?
talking about you, right?
Wow.
Wow.
Keep saying that.
You keep saying
You
that.
know, you
You
read
know,
about it.
you read
You
about
see
it.
it in the movies.
You see it in the movie.
Even when you practice it at
Even when you practice
home.
at home.
Man, oh man.
Man, oh man.
It is nothing like that.
It is nothing like that. It is nothing like that.
Oh,
Listen,
Listen,
you told me something that
you told me something that was
really difficult
really
for you.
difficult for you.
And
And
well, I figure if you can
I
be
figured
honest, then
if you could be
I
honest,
can too.
then
oh God,
I
don't tell
can
me
too. Oh God,
did it
don't
wrong.
tell me I did it wrong. I did it wrong. Oh God, don't tell me I did it wrong.
No.
No.
Nothing wrong about that.
Nothing wrong about that. Nothing wrong about that. Oh,
Okay. Here goes.
okay. Here goes. Here goes. Here goes.
I'm not 22.
I'm not 22.
I'm 25
I'm 25
and 13 months.
and 13 months.
Huh.
Huh.
Figure,
But I figure,
that shouldn't change anything.
this shouldn't change anything. They 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 shouldn't change
I mean,
anything.
what the hell
I
does it
mean,
matter how old we are?
What the hell does it matter how old we are? What the hell does it matter? What the hell does it matter? What the hell does it matter how old we are? What the hell does it matter how old we are? How old we are? What the hell does it matter how old we are?
I mean, basically, I am nuts about
We basically,
you.
I am nuts
I
about
knew it the
you.
first time that
I know. I knew it
we
the
kissed,
first
and
time
I
we
had that
kissed.
tic tac under my
I didn't, and I haven't
tongue, and you didn't even mention it.
tic tac, and even
I just thought
mention
you were
it.
naturally minty.
I just thought You were naturally minty. I just thought you were naturally minty. 뭐라는 거야?
Listen,
Well, listen.
as long as we're
As long as
telling
we're
stuff,
telling stuff,
I have another one for you.
I have another one for you. I have another one for you. I have another one for you. I have another one for you. I have another one for you.
I'm a little young.
I'm a
than
little
I said.
younger than I said. I'm a little younger than I said.
You're not a senior?
You're not a senior? You're not a senior?
Oh, I'm a senior
Oh, I'm a
in high school.
senior in high school.
Okay.
Okay.
What?
What did was